Hey everyone, I'm Caley and this week for Catching Up with Caley, I'm very excited to be joined with Lightning Assistant General Manager Stacy Roest. He's also the General Manager for the Syracuse Crunch. Stacy, it's been a long time since we've been able to catch up. We're used to seeing you over at the development camps and the draft and all the fun stuff that comes with the postseason of the NHL, but I know you're in the bubble right now. How has bubble life been going for you in Alberta?
Yeah, it's been good. Toronto was obviously the two bubbles are a little bit different, but quite a few weeks in Toronto. Now we moved on to the Final Four here in Edmonton, so it's been good. The NHL has done a great job of giving us whatever we need to keep us busy and to help us with getting the team ready for the game. So it's been a lot of a lot of nights away from the family, but it's been really good hanging out with the guys here, and you're really close to the guys and they Julian and Jamie Pusher and Matthew Dart. So it's been good so far.
Yeah, I spoke with Franjean earlier last week about what you guys have been able to do to stay occupied on off days and together in the nice facilities that were in Toronto. You mentioned you guys playing tennis, pickleball, all that kind of stuff. Were you involved with all of that? And how was the tournaments up until the Eastern Conference Final when you guys had to leave the nice facilities?
Yeah. We had daily pickleball games with Jamie and I are both from Alberta, and then so it's Team Alberta against Team Quebec with Matthew and Julian. So it's been good. We've had some good battles and a lot of fun, and it's been that was really good. The BMO field there, and even here in Edmonton, they have Commonwealth Stadium here, and actually the NHL set up a pickleball court for us in the little corridor. So we're back at it playing pickleball, and on the days off there is some long hours there trying to keep busy and with limited access to other facilities. So it's been a lot of fun.
Typically, you don't usually get to spend a ton of time with Julien during the regular season, but since you've been with the Lightning 2013, you were hired as the Director of Play Development. What's it been like now, kind of your new role as the Assistant General Manager and being with Julien during the playoffs and the rest of the management staff throughout during the bubble?
Well, that's been great. I mean, it's been nice to have Jamie and Matthew here as well, just to go over with Julien, all the teams, all the rosters, and then having the 12 teams there right off the start and seeing 3 games a day and then 2 games a day. You got to learn a lot of the players, which was nice, because normally I see a lot of Tampa, Syracuse, and then our prospects. So that was nice to see a lot of NHL hockey and learn a lot of the different players that are in the league. And now you come out here and you see some more, a couple of different teams. So it's been good. And you're learning just obviously the salary cap and learning how the whole organization looks like for the next couple of years, and then going over our prospects. So we had lots of time to do that, and so that part's been really beneficial so far.
It seemed like a pretty seamless transition for you going from the Director of Player Development into the Assistant General Manager role. How has that been, and how has Julien's relationship with you kind of helped make it an easier transition in some ways?
Yeah, that was a lot easier when I'd worked with him. In Syracuse, I was there a lot, and he was there a lot in previous years with doing the player development, working with the coaching staff. They're in Syracuse, so obviously them, Julien really well, and he's been great. He's given me a lot of responsibilities, and then obviously with him doing being the assistant GM and then running Syracuse for years, and knowing Howard and Jim Sarosi and Vance, the guys there. So he's helped me a lot with that. And then the organized Syracuse Crunchy organization, the front office, they've been together for so long, and they're a great group of people there to work with. So it's been a lot of fun.
How rewarding was it for you, or kind of your job when you were the Director of Player Development, which has now been passed on to JP Cote, just being able to draft these young players, and then, when you're in that position, you're really growing with them and developing them and spending so much time getting to know them on and off the ice, and then getting them ready for the NHL level. What was that experience like, or how has that been for you when you were the Director of Player Development, and, how you hope JP Cote can kind of take over the reins for that?
Yeah, that's especially in today's game. You learn early that with the salary cap, you need to draft well. You try and keep as many picks as you can. And then once you draft them, that's only step one. You have to get to know them. You have to develop them. A lot of them have to play in the NHL, because we need you need the entry level contracts, and you need within. It's hard to find players through free agency nowadays and via trade. So to draft well and develop them, and then when they play on your team is huge these days. And I think we've done a good job of that. I think we can do, we're trying to do a better job. We're trying to cover, every angle and give the players all the resources they need. And through JP Cote now, and and Mike Ellis and Barb Underhill and Tracy Tutton and even Ryan Hamilton and the whole development staff. And it's been really good. JP's doing a great job of working with those. He was there. He was the guy in the minors when he played. He got to go up to the NHL. So it's nice when you work with guys like that have been through the same experiences that, as similar as when I did as a player. You start off at the bottom and you work your way up, and that's what we're trying to do with our players. And the Al Murray and the scouting staff done a good job of drafting good players, and then we try and turn them into first of all good AHL players and then NHL players.
And JP has a little bit of history with Julien when he played for Montreal back during his career. Julien was working for Montreal as well, and JP playing at the AHL level. He played 19 games for the Lightning. Just a long-time veteran AHL defenseman. But what about him, made him a great candidate for this new position and maybe some of his leadership ability on the ice when he was a player?
Well, that's the first thing is the leadership. When he played with us in Syracuse, when I got to know him and was working with him and the other players, was that he's, whenever he never left anybody out. Everybody was always included, and he worked hard. He maximized it, all of his ability out of it in his game to get to the NHL. Played a long time, in the minors, went overseas. So, guys like that have been through all the stages and all the leagues. They're the ones you want working with your prospects because they can relate to the prospects. But the leadership is second to none with how he includes people, and he's a great communicator. So I think that's, he's doing a great job, and I know he'll continue to do it.
Yeah, it seems like a really great hire for you guys. And I had asked Julien Brisebois earlier before you guys went into the bubble about his experience trying to navigate as the general manager this postseason, just dealing with COVID and not knowing what to expect and try to get things going again safely to continue to have an NHL playoffs. But for you, Stacy, what has it been like with the Syracuse crunch and obviously their season also having to come to an end early? I think you guys were able to play about 62 games before the end of the regular season. How have you been navigating through, trying to maintain the relationship with the players through all this and also just do your job and worry about drafting and what everything that kind of comes with being the general manager?
Yeah, that's been a little bit tough, especially like you said, the abrupt end there in March was tough because we were starting to play well, we were rolling and getting some momentum heading into a good playoff run. But once that happened, now it's just been basically keeping in touch. A lot of phone calls, Zoom calls. For the prospects, we had basically like a Zoom development camp. So basically, we brought all the development staff together and we had a Zoom call and basically left it on the players to reach out to was it Barb or Tracy or Jamie Heffernan or JP or myself to whatever you need. So been going through that, doing power skating online, which is a little bit different because it's tough to get them all together right now. And then just working with that, and then with the same thing with the Syracuse. Once every week or 2 weeks, I give them a call, update them on what we know, what's going on, and that's the thing. We don't really know much with when the training camp's going to start, when the regular season looks like it will start for the NHL or like the AHL next year. So it's been a little bit tough that way, but the guys have been great. They've been working out, and roster wise, we have our entry level contracts that we know we're coming back, and free agency starts here, in October. So we'll have to wait and see what we can, how the rest of this playoffs go here with Tampa, and then we'll go from there. So it'll be a big. I think things are going to happen really quick. So we're prepared for it. We're ready for it, and like I said, just keeping in touch with all the Syracuse players and our prospects and updating them for as much as we know is all we can do right now.
Unfortunately, weren't able to see them on full display at the camps and like we normally do in June or even at the rookie tournament, obviously, which we normally see at the end of August. So without having that, we did get to see, Alex Barré-Boulet, Cal Foote, Volkov, Stevens and Joseph asked to come skate with the team, the Lightning at training camp in Tampa. Of some of those prospects, like the Cal Foots and Barré-Boulet finished, I think, first in scoring for your team this year. What stood out to you about them and how they look and their improvements or adjustments throughout the season?
I think the biggest thing is it was funny because last game we watched, Julien and I were together. March 11th was in Utica, and he left the game, and Barré-Boulet and Foote were probably the two best prospects in the game. So that's kind of where they're getting to as prospects, is when you go to a game, you notice them right away and they have an impact on the game. And I think you look at our players that have went up. Stevens, he was at that stage when he was in Syracuse. Every time he went on the ice, you noticed him. Joseph's like that, Volkov. So I think those two players are good prospects for us. It was great for them to get up there and go to the camp and I watched online there, and they looked really good. So that's it's promising for them for their future, and promising for us for the Lightning to have them in our lineup soon.
Ross Colton was another player too, who seemed to have a pretty strong year. And you have a couple more players, prospects in Boris and Kachuk and Taylor Radish, 2016 second round draft picks. How are they kind of coming along at this point in their young careers? But no longer rookies right now. They've kind of had the experience that you'd hope that they would get playing at the AHL level. How did you think that they competed this year with Syracuse and the improvements they've made to try to get to that next level?
Yeah, they made huge improvements. Ross was, he's come a long way. He was playing all, killing penalties, face-offs, power play, some power play. So he had a big year for us. And same thing, he's starting to score some more goals. And as when he was younger and when he was in school at Vermont there, he was scoring goals, so he's starting to do that more consistently. So it was a huge year for him. He was wearing a letter. He was assistant captain, by the end of the year. So that was great for him, and the leadership so he's a solid prospect. Boris and Taylor, same thing. They were scoring. Like Taylor's a natural goal scorer. He was finding a way. He was, closing in on 20 goals. So that was a good solid year for him. And Boris, the same thing. He was playing some center as we lose some players up to Tampa. They got called up. So we lost some 2 centermen with Smith when he went up, and then and Mitch Stevens. So then Boris was playing a little bit of center. So that was a good year for him. All 3 of those guys, good solid forward prospects, and they're getting closer to the becoming NHL regulars, which is good for Tampa.
Are most of the prospects that you're keeping in touch with and doing some of these Zoom meetings with and the Zoom power skating coaching with, are they able to get on the ice this off season, and kind of what are your expectations for them as you get ready to hopefully have some sort of a camp or an ability to watch them after the postseason here at the NHL?
Well, yeah, that's the tricky part. It's all different with every, Alberta or even in the States or Ontario. The rinks are starting to open up, more and more now. And so I think from what I know now, they're all on the ice, they're all skating, they're all, trying to, practice with teams or getting buddies together. So it's been a little bit tricky that way, but, there's lots of, everybody knows in different leagues, they're all in the same, the American League and the NHL, they're in the same boat. So all these players that live in Toronto or all these cities are looking for ice time, looking for people to skate with. So, that part's been good. And now it's, like I said, a little bit trickier. We've never really had to deal with this before, not having a training camp. And usually they're into, they're full bore right now. So it's been tough for them, but they've all done a good job. One thing is they're all motivated to get back on the ice because they've been off for so long. So that's been a nice thing of once they get back on, they're eager to get at it, and they're working on their game.
How much has Julien just kind of helped both of you being able to work together and throw things off each other in terms of being able to get back to a little bit of a new norm and navigate something that obviously no coach or general manager or player has ever been through before, just in terms of trying to stay on track and do your job?
Yeah, that's been huge. And, and like you said, we both we just throw around ideas to each other about, when things come up or you get, players are looking for answers, and we just kind of bounce each other ideas off each other. So that's been a huge help to have him here. And like you said, we don't know. We're just dealing with all these new problems as they come, and because nobody's ever been through this before, and hopefully never have to go through it again.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Stacy. Appreciate your time. I know you guys are busy, but I'm glad you could take the time to talk to us. I know it's been an interesting summer for you and a big transition, obviously, with COVID and everything that's happened.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks. Have a good day. Thanks, Caley.